themselves standing on a stage, like a stage that you can speak to people, you can reach people. Who here sees themselves standing on a stage and reaching people with their message? Put me in the comments down below. Put me in the comments if you see yourself standing on a stage and you are a yes for that. You see yourself standing on a stage. And how many of you would actually like to be paid as you speak? Be paid for your message. Put paid in the comments down below if you want to get paid to speak and get your message out there, because I'm going to be sharing with you 10 unique ways that you might have not thought about before, that you can actually be paid to speak really quickly. Like some of you this week, you could be paid to speak. And now I have some people behind the scenes with me in the Zoom, and some of you are watching this in a replay. So if you're watching the replay, just put replay in the comments down below, or just say hello if you happen to be watching this live as well. So getting on big stages, being paid to speak is a process, and it's so needed right now. It's so needed because our world has been through a lot of upheaval. We're really in a new paradigm. We're in a new way of women leading, of doing business, of the world that we're in. And women's voices, I believe, from all over the world are needed more than they ever have been before. Are you with me on that? Just put yes in the comments if you're with me, that women's voices are needed, that your voice of healing and change and transformation is needed. Now, the ladies behind the scenes with me here, we're putting what is it they do, like where they're joining from. So put that in the comments as well. And then what is it that you do in 3 words or less? See if you can do that. 3, maybe 4 words. I'm not going to put a box around you, but what is it that you do? Because what you do is so important. Some of you are helping women through midlife transitions, through financial transitions, career transitions, through health challenges. Like you're helping people with whatever it is that you do, you're helping people. And that's so important. Put your hand on your heart if you just know that your work is important and that you've been called to do this powerful and important work in the world. You know you've been called to do this work. Hand on your heart, nod your heads, like you know that you've been called to be here and to do this work. It's so powerful. Did you know that speaking, like getting your work out there in the world, sometimes it can feel challenging, but did you know that speaking is the number one form of what I call flow marketing? Like you all want ease, you all want flow, you all want to not do the push and the hustle, right? Are you with me? Just like no hustle, put your hands up if you're like no more hustle, no more grind, no more overwhelm, no more of that crap, but you want to be in the flow. Put the word flow in the comments down below. Put flow in the comments if you're like yes to ease, yes to flow, put flow. If you're like clients are flowing in, income is flowing in, right? Tech is even feeling like flow somehow, and you're moving yourself out of overwhelm and into flow. Put flow in the comments down below because it encompasses the flow and the ease that it truly is your birthright. You do not have to hustle anymore. And if things didn't work, if you tried different strategies and things didn't work, I want you to know that it's not your fault. Take a deep breath. It's not your fault. You might have just been not in the right timing or the right business or the right coach or mentor to guide you, and maybe you were just missing pieces. It's not your fault. Or maybe the way that you were shown how to do it was just too much hustle and overwhelm, and you want to be in flow. It's not your fault, but you're here at this moment, and it's right timing. And I know that many of you, take a deep breath into this. Many of you feel a new paradigm emerging and you're rising to meet it. Like the timing is perfect right now. So now is your time. If you feel that, if you're like, this is my year, 2024 is my year, now's my time. I see myself on bigger stages. What happened is the past. It wasn't my fault, and let's move forward. If you feel like now's your time, claim it. Put it in the comments. Just write, now's my time. But now's my time in the comments. Speaking, like I said, is the number one way of getting your message out there and getting clients and income and consistency coming in. Speaking is flow marketing. If you like the sounds of flow marketing, just write flow marketing in the chat right now. Just write flow marketing. And can you be paid to speak? Absolutely 100% yes. In my business trainings where I teach women entrepreneurs, being paid for your incredible services and your spiritual gifts is at the core and the foundation of it. So you absolutely can get paid to speak. I've been an entrepreneur for over 30 years in the spiritual, holistic, wellness, and healing realms, for those of you who don't know me yet. And I love what I do. There were times when I went through where I was pushing and grinding and hustling. And I've done a lot of different things in my business. I have published a magazine, owned a yoga and wellness center. I have created the Women's Holistic Business Academy. I have produced large-scale transformational events and festivals and conferences. I recently created the Women's Spirit Festival, where I put over 222 women on stage. If you were part of that Women's Spirit Festival, just write spirit in the chat. I put over 222 women on stage. So I gather women, and I love to gather women and support women leaders to learn how to speak with confidence and courage. And specifically, I teach them how to create their speaker's media kit and their soul talk, which is something that every speaker needs in order to get on big stages. And I totally love what I do. But like I said, there were times also when I was like pushing and hustling and grinding and going on this downhill journey. How many of you can relate to this like too much overwhelm and grind and hustle and the push? And I actually burnt out and my business wasn't working. And it was me finding my way through that, like breathing my way through it and choosing a different way. Like I couldn't do the burnout and push and hustle anymore. And it was when I found that when I put myself forward in my business and have the courage to speak, even though I didn't used to, I put everybody else forward. I didn't used to have the courage to speak. And I realized that every time that I did get the courage and just speak, my business would grow. Clients would come in, income would come in. And I realized like me hiding wasn't serving anybody. And it certainly wasn't serving me or my income. I love what Grace just wrote in the comments, courage rocks. It is. And it's something that I realized as well. Like I used to try to have like, okay, I'm going to be confident. I'm going to go out there and be a confident person in the world. And I just didn't have that. And I would like try to make videos online and then hide and feel so vulnerable and so ashamed and so imposter syndrome. We were talking about this earlier in my power circle. And it's it's such a thing that happened in me. Like I was so afraid and I would just feel so vulnerable. But it was when I just had those little snippets of, oh, I don't have to be confident. I don't have to be the best. I just have to have a thread of courage, a thread of courage, not confidence, a tiny little thread of courage to go, okay, I'm going to get on this stage and I'm going to speak. And I remember making one of my first videos and being like, okay, I don't have to be confident. I just have to have courage. Palms were sweating, like I'm nervous. And I got out there and I spoke and it was probably not the best, but I did it anyway. It felt so good to do. And I realized people are loving it. And then the events that I did, I was leading large scale transformational conferences and festivals with 100 speakers in person. I wasn't speaking on them. So eventually I got myself on stage, put myself on my own stage and spoke, and my business grew. And I went from struggling to making consistent income, consistent clients, and loving what I do. And it's all because of speaking. And primarily, my first ones were my own events. And then eventually I started speaking on bigger stages, podcasts, festivals, summits. I spoke in person alongside Danielle Laporte and Mark Groves. Love that. I spoke online a lot and actually in person alongside Marcy Shimoff as well. I spoke online alongside Jack Canfield, alongside Lisa Nichols, alongside Reed Tracy, the president of Hay House. Like I've done some really cool things in my speaking career, and those are just naming a few. And it just keeps growing and it just keeps getting better. And speaking is at the heart of all of it. That's why next week I'm doing a 5-day training series for speakers. I'll tell you more about it later. It's called the Empowered Speaker Training. So I'll tell you more about that later. But speaking has really made my business stable and has made me grow my courage muscles. And I realized like I don't have to be confident to do it. I don't have to be the best at it. I just have to have courage and I just go. And then there are certain tools that I'll be teaching you next week in the Empowered Speaker Training that are really going to help. And there are certain ways of speaking, and there are certain things that you can do to get booked to speak. I'll teach you all those next week. But today, I'm going to teach you the 10 unique ways to get paid to speak, because I am on a mission that no woman should ever have to hide and be afraid of speaking, that you could have the courage to get out there and get your message to the world so that we can change people's lives together, because that's what it's really about. Who's with me? Put yes in the comments down below if you're with me. If you're like, oh, I'm here to change people's lives. I'm here to be of service. I'm here to make a difference. Put yes if you are with me. Put yes if you're with me. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so are you ready to learn the 10 unique ways to get paid to speak? My first question, and yes, my first question to you is, why do you want to speak? Take a deep breath and just tune into your own heart. When I ask you the question, why is it that you want to speak? Maybe it's so that you can get paid, have a career, take care of your family, so you can get your message out there, change the world, whatever it is. Just take a moment and tune in. What does your heart say? What does your soul say? Why do you want to speak? Let's hear it in the comments. Let's hear it in the comments. Why? What is your why behind your speaking? Put it in the comments. I'm going to get a sip of water while you write and while you feel into it. Ooh, I like what Carolee wrote. It just seems like the best next step after doing TV and radio. Carolee's done a bunch of TV and radio. Beautiful. Jeannie says, I desire to get on stages to share the message. You can make a career change and not continue to suffer in a job or career that is soul sucking. Oh my gosh, Jeannie, that is so good and so important. Like, you want to help other people to live through what you've even lived through. Carolee says it's an intuition. Like, so how many of you feel that too? Like, it's just a calling on your heart and your soul that you're like, I know that I need to speak. I know that I need to get on bigger stages. I know that I need to have people hear my message. How many of you have that? Let me just move my microphone here. Yes. Oh, Anita, I love what you wrote here. To get the message out, that's another way to heal. That is so beautiful. And it is like, you speaking heals you. So powerful. I've noticed that even in me telling my story, which is some of the things that I teach in our longer term programs, is how to tell your soul story, how to make that part of your soul talk, and how to bring that transformation to others. It healed me to do that so much. Like, one of my yes, working with my counselors and therapists and healers and doing all the interpersonal work is so incredible, but speaking healed me on a big level. Really, really cool. Grace says, my soul is saying I have a message that is needed more than ever, and I am ready to share more than ever. Beautiful. Okay, so let's give you the 10 unique ways to get paid to speak. Are you ready for this? Write the number 10 in the comments down below if you're ready for 10 unique ways to get paid to speak, because your soul is calling, the message is calling, and I'm going to teach you these 10 unique ways. And then next week at the Empowered Speaker Training, we're going to go in depth. It's a 5-day training. I'll tell you more about it later. Okay, 10, 10, 10. I see lots of 10s in the comments. So let's just dive right in. Get your notebooks out. I'm going to pull my magical webcam up. And I'm going to get my colored pens out. Show me your colored pens, because these help to activate your brain. Get your notebooks and your pens out, and also your action muscles. Get those out as well. So we're going to go 10 unique ways to get paid to speak right now. Let me just bring this. Well, let me bring my camera up a little bit so you can see a bit more. This is my magical desk cam. I usually rename it Magic Desk Cam. This is number 1. All right. Number 1. Are you ready? Let's go. Number 1. Look local. And when I'm saying local, is look at local associations and charities. So what associations and charities and organizations, what local organizations, charities, and associations could you possibly speak at? So put down in your own notes, and even in the chat here, what local organizations. So maybe it is your Chamber of Commerce. Maybe it is a local organization, perhaps like the Cancer Society or the Heart and Stroke Foundation. Some of the first events that I ever did were yogathon fundraisers for the Heart and Stroke Foundation. Super cool. Maybe it's a charity that you really care about that helps children or animals. Like, what local charities And I'm saying this, what local charities could you speak at? And you might go like, wait a minute, it's a charity. They don't necessarily have money, but they do. They have budgets where they need to put on events, and they have budgets where they actually have to use the money, and you could potentially get paid to speak. And I'll talk a little bit more later about if you don't get paid up front, there's another way that you can get paid on the back end. So everybody write down in your local community, maybe it's a women's organization, a women's business organization, or a local chapter of XYZ. Like, what is it that you could speak at? Write it in the chat. Let's start a brainstorm. So think about a local association, organization, charity, a Rotary, different clubs. Look them up in your local listings. There used to be when newspapers existed. I don't think there's as many as out now, but like there are newspapers and local publications that will even show you like what are the local business organizations, churches, charities. You could probably come up with a list of 100 organizations in your local community to reach out to and see if they're looking ever for speakers for their events, for their staff or their teams, for their organization. So go ahead and write in the chat what one idea is out of those hundreds. And some of you might right now be using ChatGPT or Google to even look up like what are the different organizations in my city that I could approach and see if they need speakers. So that is number one. Do you like that one? Put yes in the chat if you like this one. Put a big yes in the chat if you're like, oh, my ideas are churning. I'm like going to come up with a list of 100 organizations to reach out to potentially speak. These are so good. All right. Number two, number one was associations, organizations, and charity. Number two is also local. This is really interesting. You can get paid to speak locally quicker and easier than you can online even. So let's go local again. And maybe these are corporate businesses and organizations that are not charities and associations. So they often will hire guest lecturers and guest teachers. I remember I went into a really big organization, like a province statewide organization, and taught back in the day. I taught meditation and I taught relaxation for their staff of like 1,000. It was super cool. So I loved that I was teaching that. Oh, hold on, my screen is speaking to me. There we go. And I taught that and they paid me to do it. I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. So think about what corporations and businesses, maybe it's like a bank, maybe it is an insurance company. And this is, you're going in, maybe it's your local hospital. I also taught in local hospitals to the employees of the hospital that were very stressed out. I taught them stress reduction. So where could you go in your local community that's a business? Write yourself a list. You can even look it up. You can Google it, like what are the local organizations? And you'd be surprised at they're often looking for speakers, guest speakers to come in and teach. And it's really beautiful. It's a great way to get paid to speak. Who's excited by this one? Put yes in the comments down below if you're like, oh, I never thought of that. I could go into the local hospital or the local insurance company or the investment company and teach their staff and their teams. Like, blow your own mind with the possibilities that are sitting right in front of your beautiful face. Oftentimes, women are making the mistake of, oh, I'm going to go speak in some like far off place, which is great. Some of my clients have gone to speak in Dubai or they've gone to speak all over the place. And it's like, that's great. Or they're like, I'm going to speak at a big global online event. But speaking local, that's why I'm starting with these two. It can bring you the business that you're looking for much quicker than even online, which is really powerful. So you excited about this one? Write your list and do the brainstorm in the chat, wherever you're watching this. Put it in the chat. Like, what is it that you can do that is local? Yes? Okay. Number three. Oh my gosh, here's another one. This is my third and final local one. Another one is school districts. So your local schools, your local school district, whether it's in the school for the students or whether it's at the school for the teachers, or maybe the district has Pro-D, professional development days. They have budgets for professional development, and they teach all of the people who are within their school system. So it's the teachers, the administrators, the support workers. Like there's a lot of people there. They'll have hundreds of people who need Pro-D days, and it's like sitting there. It's an oasis of possibility for you to speak to schools. So whether that's elementary, high school, or universities. So we're going to like just write schools and also I'm going to write post-secondary as well. Contact them and say, hey, well, if you're teaching like how to leave your corporate career, they might not want you to teach that, but you can teach something. You can teach how to like be more successful in your career. That's wonderful. If you can teach how to have stress reduction or ease, and Alex is teaching about menopause, this is really incredible that women in the workplace are going through this. They need this message of how to get through it. So this would be really, really powerful at any one of these three. So local schools, etc. So these are wonderful. They have Pro-D funding for these things. So is this exciting for anybody? Put down a name of an organization, business, or a school district that you can actually speak at. So go ahead and put that in. All right. Are you ready for number 4? This is a really cool way to get paid to speak. So we're going to move away from local and we're going to start to think about something else. Oh, good. Anita's got 3 local universities that she's going to apply to speak at. Okay. Number 4, you can actually make money speaking by being an affiliate for different products, services. So this is a kind of a really unique angle. So you can make money by talking about a product that pays you to talk about it. That's kind of cool. It's really unique and interesting. You could talk about somebody else's course, somebody else's training. So an affiliate means you get paid for putting somebody else's stuff in front of your people, whether that's a course, a book, a training, an event, a product, whatever it is. You can affiliate for stuff and then use speaking as a way to sell stuff for other people. Does that make sense? Put A for affiliate in the comments down below if you're like, oh, other people's stuff. I don't even have to like deliver on the product. I can just tell people about the product and affiliate for it. So I think that this is a really unique way to get paid to speak as well, is number 4, affiliate. So your homework on this right now is to research, like, who can I affiliate for? What can I affiliate for? Products, services, events, like whatever it is, who pays well, and then talk about that on your own show, on your own podcast, on your own networks, on your own channels. Talk about it and get paid on the back end. That's kind of a fun way to get paid to speak. All right. Are you ready for number 5? Put yes in the comments down below. Is it okay that I'm going through these quickly? I want you to have them all today. So are you ready for number 5? Actually, let me get a different color up here. Okay, number 5. Ready for number 5? Let's do it. I love number 5. This one is really cool and also very unique. And it is for you to guest speak on others' courses. So if you have a colleague or you know somebody who's doing a training course and they have paid clients, you could come in as a guest and they can pay you either on the front end or they can let you get clients from it and that pays you as well. So when you're a guest speaker on somebody else's course or training or whatever it is that they have, and you add value to their product or service, to their course, to their training, to their event, then you can actually get paid to do that. And you're going to be meeting people that you could guest speak on next week in the Empowered Speaker Training, April 15th to 17th. You're going to be meeting a whole network of women who will be alongside you and potentially collaboration partners so you can get paid. So I'm going to write in here, guest speak. And I'm not talking about just a podcast. You don't typically get paid for podcast guesting. Let me just bring my camera up a wee bit. There we go. You don't typically get paid for podcast guesting, but I'm talking about guest speaking in legitimate training courses. So I'll write that down, in any training courses. So there you go. That's number 5. You can guest speak and you can work out a rate. Maybe it's a percentage, maybe it's get paid after the fact, maybe it's they just pay you a flat rate to speak on those. This is so cool. All right, are you ready for number 6? let's do number 6. And I'm gonna just make sure, I'm gonna make sure that my little camera is up a little bit so that you can see my whole page. All right, number 6. I hope that I'm giving you a whole bunch of great ideas here so that you can go out and get booked to speak. Number 6, have your own show. This is a great way to get paid to speak because having your own show gives you the ability to generate your own list. So that you're adding people to your email list, your social media, like you're just getting out there. It gives you leverage. It's one of the things that I teach to women is in our Show Host Academy is how to have your own show. And it's really powerful. So number 6 is have your own show. And you can open doors eventually. So it might not be like paid to speak right away, but eventually it opens doors for you to get speaking on bigger platforms and then let that have a ripple effect. Let that roll for you. Having your own show is powerful. You can do a weekly video. Okay, number 7, you can get that show sponsored. So this is really fun. Once you have this show, you can get it, whoops, little arrow there. You can get it sponsored, meaning maybe there are companies or organizations or products. By me having my own videos and my just even my stories on social media, I haven't told my amazing business partner and husband this yet, but somebody told me like recently that they want to give me an outfit to wear because I love their products, and they're like, I'm going to give you an outfit to speak when you speak, do your next speaking engagement. I'm just going to give you this outfit, and it's worth probably like $200 of like organic bamboo, like beautiful clothing that just feels so good to wear. She's going to give me an entire outfit because I have a show, because I have a platform, because I'm speaking. And this is just from stories. So incredible. So get your show sponsored, whether people are giving you stuff or giving you money to talk about their things. It's super cool. So that's another way to get paid to speak. Now, I'm going to blow your minds here. Let me do another color. We're talking about get paid to speak, like do things that actually bring money in right away. But I've also been mentioning like maybe they pay you up front, maybe they pay you later. Or maybe you get paid on the back end. You don't get paid by the event organizers at all. Take a deep breath into that. I'm going to blow your minds. And in my 10 unique ways to get paid to speak, I'm going to tell you right now, get speaking free. Speak free as much as possible. How is that a way to get paid to speak, everybody? How is that a way to get paid to speak? Because if you speak to audiences for free, whether it's at a local charity, a business, a school, in front of other people's events, etc., if you speak free up front, and then on the back end, you're allowed to enroll clients, connect with those people, maybe give a free gift opt-in, maybe give a session or a low price paid session or a free session. And then you get people into your coaching programs where they're paying you thousands of dollars. That's actually more beneficial. Think about this. You could have the option of getting paid, like one of my clients, she just got paid $2,000 for an 8-minute talk. Put 2K in the comments down below if you're like, oh my gosh, I want to get paid $2,000 for an 8-minute talk. She went through our empowered speaker training program, our show host training program. She went through those things and got paid $2,000 for 8 minutes. It's so cool. So I love that. So that's one possibility, is that you get $2,000 for a talk, for a keynote, which I'll teach you how to do. But what if, says there's $2,000. What if instead of $2,000 to speak once, what if you spoke for free or even paid, but what if you spoke for free and you were able to get 20 clients into even a $1,000 program? How much is that? That one is $20,000. So now who wants the 2K or who wants the 20K? Put 20K if you're like, actually, I'll take that. And what if you spoke free and you could have this result? And what if you could do that like 4 times a year and you made $80,000? Or what if you could do that and keep these clients in long-term programs and you made $80,000? How many of you would want the 80K? Put 80K in the comments down below. So can you see the ripple effect of speaking for free? Anytime that you get an opportunity to speak for free, take it. Even if you get an opportunity where it's flipped, and this is something else that I teach about, where it's flipped and you're actually paying to speak. You're paying for the opportunity to speak because there's a lot that goes into event organization and event promotion. If you need to pay for the opportunity to speak, my clients will run it by me. We make sure that it's a legitimate event, and it's amazing because it's like paying for advertising, but it's the best form of advertising because you're actually getting in front of people. So you can see that speaking can lead to a lot of really wonderful possibilities that are totally incredible. All right, number 9. Are you ready for number 9? Put yes in the comments if you're like, oh, this is good stuff. This is really good. Are your creative juices and your wheels turning? This is awesome. Okay, number 9. One of the best ways to get paid speaking opportunities is to be in a community of other speakers. That's why we have our empowered speaker training, because I'm pulling a community together of other speakers who are speaking on different stages, and they'll give each other opportunities. And some of them have their own show and they're interviewing each other. They're looking for people to interview. How many of you would like to be on somebody's show as a guest? Put guest in the comments down below. If you're like, yes, make me a guest, get me on somebody's podcast. It's super cool. So being part of a community of speakers, I think, is one of the most important and essential things that you can possibly do for your speaking career. If you want to get on bigger stages, if you see yourself shining bright and getting in front of as many people as possible, get yourself a community of speakers. Get yourself a community of women leaders who are doing what you're doing and who are committed to doing it. And you'll see, like, you lift each other up. The opportunities that come for one person get spread around the group. It's really incredible. And that's what we're going to be doing in the Empowered Speaker Training. I'm going to be connecting you with a community that the opportunities are like so amazing. We also have a what is it? It's a resource called the Ultimate Stage Finder, and it's a collection of hundreds of different stages and platforms, online and in person, all over the world, that you could speak on. Who wants our Ultimate Stage Finder? Just put stage in the comments down below if you're like, ah. And it's also a listing of the different groups on Facebook and elsewhere that you can tap into to get featured as a speaker and to get speaking opportunities. So the Ultimate Stage Finder is like a super powerful resource that can get you tens of thousands of dollars of speaking opportunities. It's very amazing. All right, so community matters. That's what I was talking about. Number 10, are you ready for number 10, everybody? Number 10, put a 10 in the comments down below if you're ready for number 10 whilst I get a sip of water. Yes, you're ready for number 10. Okay, number 10 is increase your skills. If you want to be a better speaker and get more if you want more speaking opportunities, if you do want to get paid to speak, it is essential that you skill up. Because yes, you don't have to be perfect. The world doesn't want you perfect. You don't have to even be the best. You just have to be infused with potent courage and some tools that are going to make a big difference for you. And I'm going to be teaching these tools in the Empowered Speaker Training, April 15th through 19th. Make sure that you're going to be part of it. I'm going to teach you the skills that are going to get you the ability to speak on bigger stages, the courage to claim those stages in the first place, and then the confidence to know that when you're speaking, you've got the tools to get you through. And that's really powerful. So I'm going to be teaching you skills. So just make sure, if you want to be a speaker, if you want speaking as part of your business, the way that it can give you easeful marketing, the way that it can connect you with new clients, new opportunities, new colleagues. If you want that, make sure you're up-leveling your speaking skills. Make sure you're staying current with what's working best for speakers on virtual stages, for speakers on summits, for speakers on podcasts, and for speakers in local speaking engagements. I'm going to give you all of these incredible tools and more as part of our Empowered Speaker Training. So whatever it is that you do, just make sure you're continuing to study the craft of speaking. If you want to be a speaker, study it in the same way that you would study your healing modalities. So just put study in the comments down below if you know, if you're like, oh, it actually makes sense to study these things, like to stay upfront and current and to study it as a craft to get better at it. Put study in the comments down below. Do you want me to tell you about our empowered speaker training before I give you a couple of more? Do you want me to tell you about that? I will. So out of these things, before I do that, out of these 10, getting paid to speak in local charities and organizations, getting local businesses and corporations, getting local schools, post-secondary, getting affiliate money, guest speaking on other people's trainings, having your own show, getting your show sponsored, speaking for free, which we really loved this one. This is really cool. I'll tell you more about this next week as well. Having a community and upping your skills. Out of these 10, which one is the most important to you? Which one's really sticking out as like oh, I know I need that one. Put it in the comments. Which one is giving you a little aha? You're like, yes, this is so good. This is an aha. This is something that's really going to help me. Put it in the comments while I sip more water. Side note, having a straw in your water when you're speaking is a great idea. Otherwise, you could end up with it down your shirt. So I always have a straw. So which one of these is standing out the most to you? Put the number in the comments down below. Which one is going to move the needle for you? Grace writes 1, 2, 3, and 8. So local, local, and speaking free. I agree. So sometimes these will be able to pay you. And if they're not able to pay you, it's like, go for it anyway. Like get yourself speaking. It's so good. So good. I love that. So put yours in the comments down below. And then what is something that you know that is going to make a big difference? Put that in the comments. And what's one that you've already been doing? What's one that you're like, oh, I've been doing that. So you're confirming that you're doing it right. So put done and then put which one it is, put which one you've done. And then Anita says 1 to 3. This is really good. And number 8 as well. Oh, this is cool. 1, 2, 3, and 8 are standing out for a few of you. And Anita has done number 8. She's been speaking free. So doing more of that. I really love it. So these tools, are these helpful for you? Put yes in the comments down below. Is this helpful for you? Is this sparking and turning the creativity and the action steps? Put yes in the comments. Now, what is your action that you're going to do? It's not for me to decide what you're going to do, but what are you going to do to take action on this today? Like to make this happen today? Because when you do, you don't just sit here and go like, oh yeah, I did a workshop, but I was just thinking about it, but I didn't do anything. My hope for you is that you take some action based on this today and it gets you results within 24 hours. So what's the action you're going to take? Maybe it's write a list of local charities and reach out to 10 of them. Write a quick email like, hey, do you ever accept outside speakers? Maybe it is signing up for our empowered speaker training. That's skilling up. Maybe it is looking at your local organizations and that you can actually speak free at and then get paid on the back end. So what is your action step? Anita says, look up more local organizations, charities and businesses, and reach out. Perfect. And I recommend putting a number on that as well, Anita, like saying like, okay, I'm going to reach out to 10 and have it be a goal. 10 of them by when? The end of today? Or by the end of the week. So for all of you who are writing in your action steps, make it really specific. You're going to reach out to how many and by when. So that when I meet you next week for the empowered speaker training, you're going to come to me and be like, I reached out to 10 organizations and I already heard back from 3. So you can actually have some wins starting. And that's one of the things that's the most powerful in your speaking career is just to continue and have wins happening. Did you get a lot out of this so far? I've got a couple more tips for you that are really going to make a difference. But did you get a lot out of this so far? Put yes in the comments if you got lots out of this so far. Put a yes if you're like, oh, this is really good. This is working. This is helping me. This is sparking the ideas and getting you into action. Yes. Okay. So good. So I do want to invite you to the Empowered Speaker Training. Can I tell you a little bit about it? Can I just take a couple of minutes right now to tell you about the Empowered Speaker Training? Put another yes in the comments down below if that's cool with you. Another yes in the comments. So it's a 5-day training for just 1 hour a day called the Empowered Speaker Training, and it's specifically for women leaders who are holistic healers, health coaches, spiritual teachers, wellness guides. It's for all of you who are in those realms because that's my favorite. This is something I've been doing for decades, and these are the women I love helping the most. And if you're done with the hustle, I'm going to help you to discover the secret formula to ignite your voice as a thought leader in just 5 days. 5 days is all it takes because it's time for you to break through into your potential as a speaker and as a go-to thought leader. How many of you see yourself being a go-to? Put go-to in the comments, or a thought leader, put thought leader in the comments, or speaker, put speaker in the comments. Like whatever it is that you see yourself being, it's time for you to have that. So 5 days, 1 hour a day, and I'm going to give you the tools to create your speaker's media kit. This is one of the best parts of this training. I get really excited about this because if you want to speak on big stages, on summits, if you want to keynote at a local conference, even if you want to get in these local charities and organizations, oh, actually, I'll bring that little extra camera down. If you want to get in, if you want to guest speak all the different things, you need to have a speaker's media kit. If you want to be a speaker and you don't have a speaker's media kit, you are missing out big time. So in 5 days, I'm going to train you to have your own speaker's media kit, and you'll get it done step by step with me over the 5 days. So your speaker's media kit will be ready. And I've had clients message me. I remember my client Therese messaged me just a couple months ago, and she was like, I just have to tell you, I used my speaker's media kit and I signed up for this amazing conference, and it was the easiest sign up process because everything you taught us to do was right there in my media kit. I signed up and I got the speaking gig, and I was like, yes, you did it. So it works. So having your speaker's media kit is powerful. You're going to learn that in the Empowered Speaker Training. You're also going to learn some of my speakers' power tools. The things that you can use if you forget what you're saying, if you feel vulnerable, if you need to muster your courage, if you sometimes don't know what to say or you struggle with imposter syndrome, the speaker power tools that I'm going to give you are going to help you with all of that. Some of them are about the inner work, and some of them are about how to engage your audience. How many of you have noticed that I've been engaging my audience here as part of this workshop? Put me in the comments down below if you've noticed this. Put me in the comments down below right now if you've noticed that I get you involved, that I keep your brains working, hopefully, so that you're not multitasking and you're getting as much out of this as possible. And I see lots of me happening in the comments. Perfect. So I'm going to teach you these tools that will help you to engage your audience and truly change people's lives. That's happening in the Empowered Speaker Training. It's going to be so incredible. We're also giving you the tools to connect and get booked to speak and paid to speak. So how many of you want to get booked and paid? Put B and P in the comments down below. Booked to speak and paid to speak. That's all part of the Empowered Speaker Training as well. Now, this training is worth over $2,000. There are some extra things that we added to the VIP, and I'm so excited to bring this to you. And not only that, it's not just that the training is valued at over $2,000. It's if you could get a speaking engagement that pays you $2,000 for 8-minute talk, would it be worth it to you? If you could get booked to speak and then after the fact, get paid $20,000, get paid $80,000, get paid double that, would it be worth it to you? It's incredible what we're doing. And I wanted to make this training really doable, really possible. So we're giving the Empowered Speaker Training away for just $97 for a 5-day training for speakers. Absolutely incredible. I wanted to make it doable for you. So joinempoweredspeaker.com is where you go to get it, because I'm going to help you to get your message out there as a leader, as a thought leader, and as a paid speaker. And this event is going to help you to become a world-class speaker and to live your highest purpose. I'm so excited to train women leaders who are heart-aligned and authentic, who want to move away from the hustle and towards an authentic place. Oh, you're so welcome. So joinempoweredspeaker.com is where you can go to grab that. It's $97. There's also the option to get VIP. And in VIP, I'm going to give you all the replays for life of the Empowered Speaker Training. You're also going to get the ultimate stage finder, which is that resource that I told you about of hundreds of worldwide listings of speaking opportunities. So powerful. So I'm going to give you that. And I'm also going to give you a training manual that you can use as a resource guide, checklists, and a hub of all the training. So the training manual is in that as well. And I'm going to give you the audios too when you get VIP. So give VIP because that training is so powerful. And that is the Empowered Speaker training. Join empoweredspeaker.com if you're not already in. If you're in my power circle, you're already in it. But if you're not already in, join empoweredspeaker.com so that you can embrace the speaker that is inside of you waiting to be heard, so that you can get the courage and the confidence to get your message out there and to gain more clients. Remember, speaking is flow marketing. Speaking is one of the best things you can do. And there are some tools, the power tools I'm going to teach you. There's your speaker's media kit. And then there's the community that's going to surround you on your speakers vision and your speaker's journey. So you're going to get your speaker's media kit done. You're going to get power tools for engaging your and transforming your audience. And you're going to get the community that's going to uplift you 1 hour a day, just 1 hour a day, 1 hour a day to get your speaking journey kickstarted. And if you've already been speaking, we're going to take you to the next level and get you booked on stages and get you the tools and the clarity that you need to make a huge difference in your speaking career. So go to joinempoweredspeaker.com if you're not already in, and join us, joinempoweredspeaker.com, to get your speaking up leveled and clear. Now, let me finish off with a couple more tips for you to get paid to speak and to continue your beautiful speaking career. Should we do that? Should we do that? Okay. Bonus tip number 1 is to, in your speaking, in your reaching out to event organizers. I've been organizing events for decades, and this is something that really stands out for me when speakers reach out to me. And it stands out when I see speakers. And this is, be bold. Be bold in reaching out. Be bold when you speak. Be bold in your invitations and your offers. Be bold in the world. Sometimes as women, we're taught to kind of shrink back or to play small, to be seen and not heard, to just like be a wallflower. We are taught to be small because we are made afraid to reach out. But I'm telling you that if you have a calling in your heart to speak and to lead, that you can do it and you must do it. So be bold in that. And being bold kind of means like that part of you that's afraid is going to have to just be like, okay, I can do this. And it's going to feel really bold to you to have the energy to change people's lives, to use the tools I'll teach you next week. Like, be bold. And that's how you stand out. Empower yourself. To empower means to give something power, to give something the energy. So empower yourself to reach out and speak on the stages that you've been dreaming of. I'm going to teach you how to do them next week in the Empowered Speaker Training. So be bold. That is bonus tip number 1, is be bold. And number 2, this is really important in times that we're in. Bonus tip number 2 is be current. Like, adapt your message, adapt who you are and who you speak to, adapt your business, adapt as the world changes. Be willing to adapt and pivot and move with it. You could think of, those, and I used to train in martial arts a long time ago, but those martial arts where it's like something comes at them and they just kind of like move out of the way, right? Something comes at them and they move. So rather than just staying rigid, you just start to move and to flow with it. Everybody do that with your shoulders a little bit. There's like move and flow with it. Adapt and move with the times that we're in. If anything that we've learned over the past few years with all the upheaval, all the change, all the fear, all of everything that's going on in our planet, is that we must adapt and pivot. So as a speaker, adapt and pivot as well. Adapt your message, pivot your message, adapt how you speak. Like 10 years ago, we weren't speaking online. Now we're speaking online. And everything keeps changing. It's one thing I've noticed from being an entrepreneur for over 3 decades is like, I've seen the internet start. I've seen before when people started speaking online or like coaching online, I was like, what even is that? And I've seen it all. And what I know for sure is that we must adapt and pivot with the times. Is that beneficial to you? Which one of those do you like? Being bold or adapting and pivoting? Put bold in the comments down below if you like bold, and put adapt in the comments down below if you like adapt. Or maybe you like both. Put both in the comments. So I leave you with that. Be bold, adapt, and pivot. And I'm going to teach you even more of these tools as part of the Empowered Speaker Training, a 5-day training, 1 hour a day, to completely shift who you are as a speaker, to get you the tools that you need, and just get you getting paid to speak. We can have you being paid to speak within a week. If you follow what I teach you, you can be paid to speak, you can be getting clients. So if that's been holding you back and you're like, but I don't know how to speak, or I don't know where to speak, or I don't have the time to work on these things, join us for the Empowered Speaker Training, because it's going to make a huge difference for you. So join empoweredspeaker.com. Go there, grab your seat. I'm so excited to see you in the Empowered Speaker Training. So join empoweredspeakertraining.com. Oh, sorry, join empoweredspeaker.com. 5-day training. I'm going to pour into you everything that I have learned as a leader for over 30 years in the holistic wellness field. I have created and hosted events with hundreds and hundreds of speakers. I have put, probably at this point, I should do an add up, thousands of women on my stages. And now's the time in my life where I'm coming to a point where I'm like, I want to turn around and give it to all of you. That's what I'm doing with the Empowered Speaker Training. So if you have any questions, you can pop those questions into the chat. And I'm so excited to see you. Join empoweredspeaker.com. I'll see you there. And for my ladies behind the scenes, I'll stick around here and answer some questions for you. Thanks for watching, everybody.